Let me ask you a quick question. When you hear Amazon, what do you think of? Packages, online shopping, brown boxes showing up at your door like magic? Cool. Now here's the weird part. Amazon barely makes its real money from shopping. Yep, the thing you use Amazon for is not the thing Amazon actually cares about most. In fact, if Amazon were a kid, shopping would be the toy. But the real business would be something totally different. And once you see it, you'll never look at Amazon the same way again. Let me explain it. Most people think Amazon is just a huge online store. You click, you buy. A box appears at your door. Easy, right? So you might think, Amazon makes money because I buy stuff. But here's the problem. Selling stuff is actually hard. Amazon has to store millions of products, ship them super fast, handle returns, deal with angry customers, pay workers, pay delivery trucks. All of that costs a lot of money. Sometimes Amazon barely makes any profit from the thing you just bought. So why does Amazon still push shopping so hard? Because shopping is not the main plan. It's the setup, behind the shopping store, behind the boxes, behind the Buy Now button. There's a massive money machine most people never see. Amazon's real business is renting its power, not muscles, not trucks, computer power. This thing is called AWS, Amazon Web Services. Here's the kid version. Imagine Amazon built a huge computer brain to run its own website. Then Amazon said, "Hey, we already built this thing. Why not rent it to everyone else?" So now, Netflix uses Amazon's computers, games use Amazon's computers, apps use Amazon's computers, websites use Amazon's computers. Even companies that compete with Amazon still pay Amazon every month. And this is where the real money starts rolling in. When people hear the cloud, they imagine something floating in the sky. Nope, the cloud is just someone else's computer. Amazon owns giant buildings packed with computers called servers. These buildings never sleep, never shut down, cost billions to build. Instead of every company buying their own computers, Amazon says, just use ours, pay only for what you use. So if your app gets 10 users today, cheap. 10 million users tomorrow still works. Amazon handles all the scary tech stuff. You just pay the bill. Easy, powerful, and very profitable. Here's the genius part. Once Amazon builds these massive computer warehouses, adding more customers is cheap. No boxes, no delivery trucks, no returns. Just more people renting computer power. So while shopping makes tiny profits, AWS makes huge profits. Like ridiculous profits. AWS earns way more money than Amazon's online store, even though most people barely notice it exists. That's why Amazon can offer cheap prices, run huge sales, ship things crazy fast, because the real money is coming from somewhere else. So if shopping isn't the real business, why push it so hard? Because shopping is the hook. The more you shop, the more data Amazon gets. The better their systems become, the more powerful their computers get. All that shopping traffic helps Amazon test new technology, improve speed, build stronger cloud systems, which makes AWS even better, which attracts more companies, which makes Amazon richer. It's a loop, a very smart loop. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, why doesn't everyone just do what Amazon did? Simple answer: because it's insanely expensive. Amazon started building these giant computer warehouses years ago, back when nobody even knew what the cloud really was. They spent billions of dollars, years of trial and error, massive risks most companies can't afford to, build thousands of servers, keep them running 24/7, protect them from crashes and hackers. So instead of competing, they rent from Amazon, which makes Amazon even stronger. Here's the scary smart part: even when you're asleep, you're not shopping, you're not on Amazon. Amazon is still getting paid because thousands of apps and websites are running all day, every day on Amazon's computers. Netflix streams a show, a game server stays online, an app loads on someone's phone. All of that sends money to Amazon. So, while shopping money goes up and down, AWS money keeps flowing like a faucet you forgot to turn off. That's real power. Now this explains something weird you've probably noticed. Amazon sometimes sells things super cheap, offers crazy fast shipping, runs sales that seem unprofitable. How can they afford that? Because they're not desperate for shopping money. AWS is quietly paying the bills, so Amazon can undercut competitors, play the long game, wait years to win. Other stores need profit now. Amazon can wait. That's why beating Amazon feels impossible. Every time you search for something, click on a product, Watch a page load. Amazon is learning. Not in a creepy way, in a very useful for business way. Amazon sees what people want. When traffic spikes, how fast pages must load, what breaks when millions show up at once. All of this data feeds back into AWS, so Amazon isn't guessing what companies need. They already know because they tested it on you. Before Amazon sells tools to other companies, they use them on their own store. If a system survives Black Friday, handles millions of shoppers, doesn't crash during big sales, then Amazon says, cool, now we'll rent this to everyone else. That's why AWS feels so reliable. It wasn't built in theory, it was built in battle. Other companies are paying to use technology that already survived chaos. If you're a small company, AWS is a dream. You can launch an app today, grow instantly if you go viral, pay only for what you use. No giant tech team, no expensive hardware. But here's the twist. The more companies depend on Amazon's computers, the harder it is to ever leave. Once you're plugged in, unplugging is painful. Amazon doesn't just power the internet, it locks it in. Most people think Amazon is about free shipping. It's not. Free shipping is the excuse. Prime's real job is to make Amazon your default choice. Once you pay for Prime, you want to get your money's worth. You stop checking other stores. You shop without thinking. That means more clicks, more data, more traffic, which makes Amazon systems stronger, which feeds AWS. Amazon loves subscriptions. Prime, music, video, Kindle. Why? Because subscriptions are automatic, predictable, stress-free money. Even if you don't shop this month, Amazon still gets paid. And all those services, they run on AWS too. So Amazon charges you to subscribe, uses its own computers, improves its own technology. It's Amazon paying Amazon. Perfect loop. Amazon feels unavoidable because it kind of is. Even if you don't shop on Amazon, don't watch Prime Video, don't use Kindle, you're probably still using something powered by Amazon's computers. Amazon isn't just a store anymore. It's the invisible engine behind huge parts of the internet, and most people never notice. So let's zoom out. Amazon doesn't really want to be just a store, just a delivery company, just a shopping app. Those are the front door. Amazon's real goal is to be something much bigger. Infrastructure, the boring but powerful stuff everything else depends on, like roads or electricity. If Amazon's computers go down, huge parts of the internet slow down with it. That's not retail power, that's world-level power. From a business perspective, Amazon is brilliant. They use shopping to collect data, use data to build tech, use tech to rent power, use that money to dominate shopping. It feeds itself. But here's the uncomfortable thought. When one company powers stores, powers apps, powers entertainment, powers competitors, it becomes very hard to avoid. You don't have to love Amazon to depend on it. So next time a box shows up at your door, remember, you didn't just buy a product. You helped train a giant computer brain, a massive cloud system, one of the most powerful businesses ever built. Amazon didn't win by selling stuff. It won by building the machine behind the stuff. And the real question is, if Amazon is powering the internet, who's powering Amazon?